Haters, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Some few days ago, we heard that France came out accusing Niger of stealing uranium, which belongs to them. According to them, the uranium was for them, and for that matter, Niger has no right to send this uranium to the world market to claim ownership and to also sell. So they want the court to put an injunction on this uranium. But all in all, the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings, the Most Loved, General Abdurrahmani Chiani has come out dismissing this claim. According to our all in all, if you are given license to mine, it doesn't give you ownership. So for that matter, the uranium still belongs to Niger. And even when France was in Niger mining, it was joint operation or collaboration between Niger and France. But finally, at a point in time, our all in all decided to nationalize the uranium, which means that Niger now has full control over the uranium. And we saw that France took them to the ICC court, and then they decided that all in all, General Abdurrahmani Chiani should make sure that they keep the uranium. They should not do anything to it, but all in all decided to tell them that whatever that is happening in their jurisdiction doesn't apply to us in Africa. So for that matter, we will go ahead to determine the fate of the uranium, because they say a cockroach can never be innocent in the midst of fowls. So all in all decided to go ahead with the selling of the uranium, which didn't go down well with France. It's only in Africa that you hear people coming here to claim ownership of everything, including with the human beings. So all in all is telling them that whatever that is on the soil of Niger belongs to the Nigerians, and France has no right whatsoever to claim ownership over anything that is in Niger. And the uranium is for them, and they have done what they think is best with the uranium.
Friends, I ask you the question, can you be accused of stealing yours? France has just invented a new crime, an offensive accusation on CE which belongs to the one who is accused in his colonial spirit. And predator, anything is possible. The family listened to the response of the Niger government. It is an answer clear, firm, and precise. We take out the right linear, we take out the numbers, and we talk about the story. Please follow and share. Following accusations relating to Nigerian uranium by the Uranium Group, Niger brings a denial. The Minister of Mines and the Minister of Justice. We trace the genesis of the partnership until the nationalization of LA Somer. They also shed light on the new ordinance, fixing the surface redeployment tax. Joseline Amoso, billion CFA francs, government funds, and 6 billion from Somalia. What is the state of the Niger? Injected to increase uranium production, to deny a production undermined by the company Urano. Since the 26th of July to the advent of CNSP, where she multiplied the acts of rupture, destabilization, and disorganization, including withdrawal of personnel attempt to stop production, cancellation of computer license, poisoning campaigns, to name but a few failures that have driven the state of the Niger to nationalize Somali by order of June 19, 2025, to the unfounded accusations of the Urano Group concerning Nigerian uranium. The state of Niger reacts by joint press release from the Minister of Mines and the Minister in charge of LA Justice to enlighten public opinion and give an official right of reply. The state applies strictly SA mining regulations in full sovereignty and has decided to crack down on any partner who will not respect the law for Niger's sovereignty. Protecting SES resources is a strategic and legal imperative, recognized by international law according to the Minister of Mines. Refusal to pay duties and taxes constitutes a punishable offense, ranging from the application of penalties Withdrawal of the title concerned thus: in accordance with mining regulations, a 6-month formal notice was issued to LA company Orano Mining. To date, Orano Mining did not satisfy this, that he was accused of in the formal notice in order to comply with the provisions of the regulation and the mining law. So the process of withdrawing the Arlit concession is ongoing. Pursuant to the Mining Act, the Minister of Justice and Rights, of the man in charge of relations with institutions, builds on the benefits obtained by the state after the nationalization of LA Somali between Niger and that flew that for years until 2008. Orano has always undermined the uranium content. Bring it back from 115 to 60. 63 or so is an act of theft. If there are some, it is like theft of electricity because there are, of the Somayur laboratory, which is authorized despite the results given by this laboratory. Orano still manages to reduce the content of Nigerian uranium so that it can have other benefits, MD. The state of Niger will therefore remain inflexible in the protection of your rights, of SES resources, an imperative that amounts to ensuring continuity of the preservation of employment. However, the state of Niger remains open to a respect credible in the best interests of the people.
Yes, Niger has rejected claims from France that it stole its own uranium. You guys remember that France accused Niger of selling uranium at the Soviet uranium depot against their own knowledge. And now Niger has come out clear to state it very clearly that giving a participative license doesn't signify ownership. I mean, operational licensing is not ownership licensing, which means that what? The Soviet uranium depot naturally still belongs to Niger. Yes, because if you look at the complaint that France tabled before the Court of Arbitration for Economics, it makes it look like this uranium is owned by France, and then Niger came from somewhere and stole it. The Soviet uranium depot was jointly operated by France and Niger. And then at one point, Niger decided to nationalize this depot, which means that what? It was placed under the ownership of Niger, 100%. And now Niger has come out to make it clear that this uranium is their uranium. Because when they sold 1,000 tons of this uranium to Russia, they were being accused as thieves. Yes, France said they stole this uranium and they were not supposed to sell their own uranium. Remember, their contract was already cancelled. And the situation now was at the Court of Arbitration, ICC for Economics and Trade. So, by all knowledge, France had no legal ownership of this depot, though the court asked Niger not to sell this uranium but to hold on until the arbitration is closed. As we speak, if you look at the statistics, it shows that France was buying a ton of kilograms of uranium for 5 million francs CFA. And right now, Russia is buying a ton of uranium for over 100 million francs CFA. So you now see the differences. You now see where France is doing everything to make sure that they remain in control of this resource that by nature belongs to Niger. So as we speak, a statement came out yesterday clear that a participating or operational license is not an ownership license. The license that Niger gave to France, Uranium, was an operational license, and that license was being revoked, and that is why the Somia uranium depot was nationalized. So that is what I brought for you. On the comment section, let me know what you think about the attitude of France. Why is it that France doesn't want to leave most of these African countries? They want to stay in the countries. At the same time, they are reading over the news channels that these countries are poor nations.
It's not only Niger that these people are claiming ownership over things. Our leaders cannot just take control over anything. Anything that the African leader wants to do to make sure that they bring a progress in Africa, you see these people always rising against such leaders. So it is now for us as Africans to unite to make sure we fight for the total liberation that we are looking for. If not, how can somebody move away from wherever and come into Africa to claim ownership over things that belong to us, and now making it look as if we are rather stealing our own things? Like our all in all said, the uranium belonged to us. We never went to France to carry them. So as long as they are here, they belong to us. And it doesn't make sense because we can never go to France to claim ownership of anything. No. We can never do that. And they will never allow us. So if uranium is in Africa and other people are moving away from Africa to come here and claim ownership, then we need to be asking ourselves what is happening in Africa. And this is telling us clearly that as Africans, we still have a long way to go, and it is time for us all to unite under one umbrella to make sure we fight for the total liberation, because nobody can sit outside of the continent and claim ownership. They claim that slavery is over, but what they are still doing is pure slavery in another form of it. They have disguised everything to the point that a lot of us in Africa aren't seeing, because we believe that at the end of every year we have some particular days that at least we go and march and claim that we are celebrating Independence Day. So for that matter, we don't see beyond the things that are kept before us. We are still under total slavery, and this is the reason to which we are seeing that our all in all Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso leaders are fighting to make sure we have our total liberation. And these people are doing everything possible to continue to have a grip on us in Africa. They are not ready to allow you, the African, to be. And it is the African that so much love these people to the point that we will never do anything on our own in order to set our own selves free. But we are doing everything possible to protect the interests of these people. It's as if the African is born for slavery, or our destiny is to become slaves to other people. But you, the African, the ball is in your court as to whether, like Captain Ibrahim Traore said, we come together to fight for our total liberation or continue to remain slaves forever. And he said this because he knows very well that if this our generation we do not succeed in fighting for our total liberation, it will be very difficult for the African to ever rise up to say no to slavery. Look at all these things that are happening. We are seeing that now everybody, the whole world is fighting, to the point that even European Union is fighting against the United States of America for total liberation. How much more you, the African, who is still here, that everything of yours is under slavery and everything of yours is owned by other people, that is still sitting down watching and praising these people, claiming that nothing is happening and all that is happening is in your interest, because they told you that at the end of the day when you die you will inherit somewhere. So the African today is not thinking about having anything, because they told us that when you own something here is vanity upon vanity. But the same people who brought out this book are fighting every blessed day to make sure that they own something, and they are taking the resources away. See, the only goal that we can ever walk on as Africans is what we have here in Africa. Any other goal anywhere promise you, forget, wake up. The time is now. We must fight. We must fight. We must support. We must protect. We must educate ourselves. Education is very important. Now the slavery is in the minds of the African, and that is the reason to which it's becoming difficult for us all to wake up to fight for our total liberation, because a lot of us are still sleeping and we believe every narrative of these people, and we must come together united as Africans to fight against all these things. We must break away, like Bob Marley said, emancipate yourself from mental slavery, no other person but you. So as Africans, it is only you and only you that can set yourself free, and the time must be now, and we must continue to fight for the total liberation of the African. We don't deserve to be slaves. The resources in Africa belong to us, and we must forget about the sky. We must forget about the sky and fight for the land, because it is the land that we have. So for that matter, we need to take control over the land. But when it comes to the sky, we don't have any control over the sky. Let's fight for that which we have control of. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make African great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Niger.